we do in two stages. First 49:6, then 49:12 and 13, and this is very unusual.
Three of them, I should recite them. Three of them.
If you want.
All of them.
Anybody else want it?
What?
Anybody else wanted to recite? Or it's okay? It's good? Okay, please go ahead.
Yes. All of them, yes?
Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير صدق الله العظيم.
I picked, we have discussed this verse 49:6 before, because it's an obligation, it's an order from Allah. So it says if a fasik comes to you with any news, right, you have to ascertain, you have to make sure it's true. Today, all data we get, every data, because all media, all communication is controlled by what? Worse than fasik. The worst type of fasik is controlling in every country.
Mm-hmm.
So every data we get, you have to verify. It's quite interesting, because even at a personal level, everybody talks about everybody else. We talked about this and that. Pakistanis are not trustworthy. These are Wahhabi. These are Taliban. Everything you hear is coming from fasik. We are getting to a point we are not even looking for Abu Bakr and Omar. We are looking for Abu Talib. It's good enough, because everybody hates us. Nobody wants us, and they're constantly lying. More importantly, Allah is saying that why do you have to ascertain? Why do you have to make sure that it's the truth? The first criterion was discussed. What is true? Why do you have to do that? Because you'll end up hurting others. By your action, you do not hurt yourself, you hurt others. It's quite interesting how it's put. Allah is not saying that believing in falsehood is good, bad for you, but you will end up hurting others. You know why? Because that's why the fasik came to you. Because fasik knows that you have ability to hurt other people. Shaitan, when he instigated this 4:119, said, we cause dalala. Why did he do that? So he can hurt other people. You're not the only target. They want to influence everybody who has control, who you can control.
So I agree on the point that the level of propaganda has reached its peak.
Yeah.
But looking around, there are still people who are afraid of Allah.
Yes.
they scarce and they are concerned about their akhirah. So, I mean, like, I agree on the point that there are many people who,
You see, I
come
get
up-
your point. You are saying that we are supposed to trust people, trust first. Okay? It is true. Who do we trust most? Allah. Who do we trust next? Prophet Muhammad. Who do we trust next? Khalifa Rashidin, right? Trust comes through this channel. The most trustworthy is Allah, and He calls Himself, remember? Mu'min. He trusts us. It's reciprocal. I wrote this article, I don't know if you saw it or not. Allah is trustworthy, plus He's trusting. And we are His Khalifa. By definition, we are trustworthy and we are trusting. Right? So that's by definition. So why is important? By the behavior. If somebody is really not fasik, would he say something that is illegal?
no.
If I tell you that Saif was talking bad about you, right away it means I am fasik. Because why am I telling you with the in absence of Saif? So this is what it is about. Somebody came to you with the news.
So we can look at their expressions and
What is he
behaviors.
trying to do? First thing we say, why are you telling me, brother? Then it becomes clear. If you look at the context, it's very clear. If Allah had any doubt, you do not know who is fasik, Allah would have clarified it. Allah is saying, if a fasik comes, people say, if a wretched person comes, that's not true. It's not wretched. Allah said fasik. Who is fasik is very clear. From his action, from his history. So, Prophet Muhammad said, do not get bitten by the same snake hole twice. So if you know somebody who broke his promise, who lied in the past, it's an obligation not to trust him. If you know somebody who's saying something which is haram at his face, and who is the fitna, you do not trust him. You correct him. And that's why you see later on, that verse is coming, it's an obligation to stop him. But Allah is giving a clear message here. If you do not verify, you'll end up hurting other people. I have experienced that firsthand, and I keep telling you that I'm going to talk about my own experience. It is the most important issue.
Another question I have, sir. As we, in the ayah, that we are compelled to ascertain it.
Yes.
So if someone is coming to me,
Yeah.
so for example, saying something, so I can stop him. But literally, I hear something from him.
Yes.
The first point.
Yes.
So
Then we
then,
verify.
am I allowed to verify it, like do the tajassus and?
Yes, depending on what the information is. For instance, if somebody comes to you that US is planning a bomb, right? It does not involve something haram at his face. Right? So you say, where? You want to activate. Or somebody is planning suicide bombing, right? Where? And you want to activate that channel, and you have to verify. But if it is on his face haram, then you slap him. So why are you telling me this?
Like in one context, I made an argument here previously that, for example, if someone is, coming to me that this person is trying to kill you,
Yeah.
okay, then, so in the first place, I'm going to stop him. That why you're telling me in his absence.
Yes.
So do I have the right to go to that person, that why you are going to kill me?
Now think about it. Think about it logically. right? Think about it. And I have talked about it many times, and I have felt very hurt. Somebody tells me that Sanagul is a criminal. I said, brother Sanagul, I love you, and that's why I'm telling you that Abdullah told that Sanagul is a criminal. You know, first reaction you should have, and I did. What did you tell Abdullah? Why did you not back me up? In Canada, in the West, there is a term. He said, have my back. If somebody says something, right away I tell him, I slap him. Why are you telling me this? If you have evidence, go tell the Amir. Why are you telling me? Go to court. So you're creating facade. So having back means that you defend the person because Sanagul is not here. I don't even want to know if it is true or false. I stop him right there. I said, you are doing facade. So having your back. What happens in most cases, even including this country, they gossip. So, oh, Subhanallah, I did not know. I will be very careful. Then they go to Sanagul and say, oh, Wallah, Abdullah said this. So it creates animosity. But what happened to your role? Why didn't you get my back? Why didn't you defend me? Why didn't you have my back? It's missing. This is minimum akhlaq. This is basic human quality. You defend who cannot defend themselves. That's why I defend children, because they cannot defend. Sanagul is not there, so I have to defend him. And that attitude is completely missing. I hear every day, oh, someone said this and someone said that. So what were you doing when they were saying to you? You know what? They were doing nothing. They were enjoying it. They're sucking it up. They did not stop them. It has happened to me with highest people, top people. But this is why I enjoy this conversation. I told you many times that I talk about my experience, Quran and Hadith. Everything you are saying, we have a lesson. And I was writing my report. Negative things teach us a lot more than positive things. Positive things are easy. If it works, perfect. You learn nothing. If you have never become sick, you have no idea how to recover from sickness. So we should thank Allah for these experiences, and we should say, Alhamdulillah, I have this negative experience. But how can I make use of this experience? Next, coming a moment. Allah is talking to the mu'minun about substance. The word is done. Remember? Assumptions. The unfounded belief. He assumes something, and we'll give you an example of that. Stop right there. Allah is saying some suspicion is a sin. Allah is very generous. To me, every assumption is a sin, but He's giving benefit of the doubt. Right? Allah doesn't punish for lack of intellect, but you have to remind them. And Allah is clearly saying, do not spy on each other. Yeah. Just to order. And how is Allah comparing that? Comparing with your dead brothers, eating your dead brother's flesh. Then, quite curiously, you see, he's talking about not making assumption. Right after, he's talking about brotherhood. But who is he addressing? Mankind, all of them. And this is where another thing comes. The purpose of having tribes, ethnic groups, is what? So we know each other. If you know somebody, you have love. It's not to hate them. We have turned that completely upside down. He's not from my tribe, therefore I cannot trust him. Don't you hear that all the time? He's Pakistani, he's from another tribe, he's from Kunduz, he's from Baglan. I cannot trust him because I'm from Aktun or whatever province. We have exactly turned it upside down. Then Allah clarifies. The most righteous, the most honored is the one who has the most taqwa. It's not tribe, it's not ethnicity, it's not black and white, it's not even ilm. Honor goes to the one taqwa.
So I have a question.
Yes, sure.
What if Allah created all humankind, yeah, the same? For example, Allah created all the human beings Arab. Wouldn't it be easier for us to recognize or to know each other easier?
No, it would be impossible if everybody is homogeneous, right? If everybody is homogeneous, then we can recognize. If you have three triplets, even father has difficulty identifying them. You see the point? Homogeneity is not natural. See, if they're like robots. Can you tell all robots apart? They all look the same, and it's not natural. See, it's the opposite. There is a purpose of everything, but purpose of having different groups, and quite curiously, it's coming from male and female. What is more different than male and female? Homogeneity is gay, is homosexuality, right? They're opposite. That's why we love them. That's why they form a family. Tribes, if all the tribes are the same, there is nothing. There is no diversity. You see, it's the logic of Allah is telling the opposite. So diversity is something to celebrate, not something to hate. We're looking for homogeneity. You know who looked for homogeneity? Hitler. He wanted to make everybody white, same race. And that's anti-nature. Starting from Muawiyah's time, they started to give more credit, more benefit to Arabs. It was not Islamic. Even somebody non-Arab became Muslim, they were asking jizya. I don't know if you know this history. That's zulm. And in that context, keep in mind every time there is a violation of Allah's rule, yafasa.
So we do appreciate the diversity that Allah has created,
Yeah.
yes. But for me personally, an Afghan person, I can recognize him or her very easily than, for example, an Arab. So how would that make it easier for me to-
What is difficult? For instance, if you see an Arab man, do you recognize him?
Probably.
No, because he's Arab, obviously. Now, keep the verse, following verse coming up. I mean, for next context. Can you tell he's a good person or not?
No.
Okay. If he's from your own tribe, can you tell if he's a good person or not?
If the person is a close relative, maybe I can tell.
Yes. So, who's worse? Who's worse? Somebody who is anti-Islam, who is in your own tribe, and somebody random person who is that you don't know. Who is more dangerous?
The person that I don't know.
No? The person that you believe it's your brother because you're from same tribe,
Oh, in
and
that
he's the one
context,
stabbing from
yes.
behind, right? We talked about Banu Qurayza. Right? So you see the logic all the way, you realize that there is a very great wisdom in this. Because then Allah says, why is it in the same verse? The most honored. Allah is talking about diversity, then right away Allah is saying most honored is the one with taqwa. If you start to think that I have more chance of liking somebody or finding somebody good from my own tribe, you forget the criterion that you have. And this is a problem I have seen here. There is very little trust between inter-tribes, even less when it comes to foreigners, right? Prophet's time did not have that. They did not distinguish which tribe he is from. Who knows which tribe Abu Hurairah was from? Which tribe was the answers from? Who cares? Because this is the criteria, right? So, why are you talking about taqwa? Because we talked about characterizing material, right? Good material, bad material, good energy, bad energy. How about good guys and bad guys? Because it starts with that. And I was thinking of that when I was writing report. I'm so thankful to Allah that I have got very good group. I put that in writing. I'm not shy about expressing myself because it's a fact. The kind of discussion we had, I did not have in any class, and my students were best of the world. Still, we did not have this kind of discussion. So I'm very thankful. That's when I started to think, what is the criteria for characterizing people? One of the students, I forgot who, he said, are we going to have a test or an exam to characterize them? Now I ask you, is that sunnah? Did Prophet's companion have to write an exam to qualify who is going to heaven, right? 10 of them got the news of heaven. How did they decide? How is it decided? There's a uniform test? No, that's not Islamic. Right? So it comes out. And personally, it's coming up next, I see the benefit of asking questions. And that was my first criteria.
But if it comes to assigning tasks or appointing people for specific jobs,
Yes.
then does it make sense?
It does not characterizing humans. You see? Do you remember when first the one who got the news of heaven, right? Did they get a specific task? You know who got a specific task? Ziyad bin Thabit? Zaid bin Thabit?
Zaid bin Thabit.
Yeah. You got a specific task, right? That's not to
Yeah.
characterize. Even Muawiyah had the task of writing down hadith. It's a specific task. It's not based on taqwa. He's not saying Muawiyah is going to heaven. He's giving you a task that he is skillful.
Yeah.
The selection is skill. Right?
So it is necessary to,
For that task.
Yeah, but it's necessary to recognize people that does he or she have the ability to.
That's right. To execute that one.
Yeah.
See, if I have to order guards, right? So I want to protect this camp, right? I have to say, who is best in weapons? It doesn't mind he is the most taqwa. But for that particular action, you need this. It's not, research is not like that. Research makes, you have to put somebody who can create the most knowledge, not the tangible. This is tangible, like fighting war and this, learning a language. These are tangible. Intangible is something else.
But research also depends on the basic idea that you already have or study something.
It doesn't. This is what we talked about. Research is not a function of experience.
If, for example, an electrician work here on
Electrician does not do any research. You see, what you're talking about, Zahid?
Yeah,
Zahid.
Zahir.
Zahid, yes. What you're talking about, Zahid, is training. Research is completely different. In training, experience is the most important part. You're good at it.
But research is to take a decision of something new.
That's right.
Yeah, before
Experience will
Yeah.
not help you.
before if somebody researcher don't have any information about that, how will take a decision?
That's why I said, remember we gave the example, I don't know if you were in that class. My student told me that, Dr. Islam, if you're saying that experience doesn't count, if you did not have concrete, we would not have high-rise buildings. He's my best student, keeping my best PhD student among several others. You see the conclusion he gave is very similar to yours, that if you did not have concrete, we would not have a high rises. I said, look at the science of it. It's exactly opposite. High rises do not use concrete. It's not the concrete is not the strength. You can punch hole in any wall. Right? So what happened for us, if we have experience on something, it stops us from finding something new. We rely on the past. So literally, I have shown that graph, and I hope I remember and show that again. More experience means less is creative. Experienced people cannot be creative. It's more difficult for them. Because I have a solid problem, immediately I think, what have I done first in the past? That stops me from finding new solutions. Research is about finding new solutions. Not only you do not know, nobody knows in the world. That's research. So experience is counter. And in the West, they taught us, oh, you have to have experience, you have to have certain time. But their own data tells us, I've talked about it, all physics Nobel laureates got their idea before age 26. It's not experience that gave them. Who gave the idea of photoelectric theory to Einstein? He wrote 4 papers in the same year. Who gave the idea? Definitely not from experience, because none of them involved his PhD research.
But Einstein theory that in the book Right Data, they take the idea of Planck's theory.
Ah, of course, he based on that, but it was not his experience. But they were, I'm talking about Einstein. Einstein is not a model, of course. But even for their own, it's not his own experience. His PhD was on a different topic, as you know. It was fluid dynamics, right? And quite absurd one.
So one of the things most of people faces, I can say that one of the difficult questions, and I have heard from my friend that Michelle Obama once said this, that one of the difficult questions is that one can answer that what I'm going to become. People do study different disciplines,
Yes.
but still don't know, being in some field, still don't know what do I want to become. So how one can conclude and come up with a clear path that I'm going to
You see, the whole
follow
world,
this
it's a
one.
very good example, whole world talks about me. That's the standard. How many often you have seen, oh brother, you're doing this, but I did this. What is Islam? What is true research? What do Prophet Muhammad would do? It's not about you. It doesn't matter what you have done. Every day I hear, oh, I've done this. So what? Even if the whole world done this, it means nothing. But what would Prophet Muhammad would do? That's the one. That's why that research does not come from experience. It doesn't exist. We do not know. We have to find out ourselves from Quran in the context of Hadith and extrapolate. That's called research. So, whatever you learned in modern era, it's exactly opposite. It's turned upside down. And we're coming to that. We'll have some pretty good conclusions, I think. I talked about that. What is Prophet's technique for acting people? Do you know this hadith? He said, how do you select imam? Do you know that hadith? It is long hadith.
No.
You don't? Okay. First one is Iqra. Second one taqwa. And it goes on. It goes, what if they are the same? What if they are the same? It went up to the point that whose wife is prettier. You see, there is a wisdom for it. You remember that? It's unbelievable. The whole ranking that we talked about. Remember, we talked about sweetness.
Do you even consider that thing?
Exactly. This is Islam. There's nothing left to honor. It's precise, and it's coming from the same science. And I can explain to you why it is reasonable. Right? So, first one is Iqra. People say, oh, that's why they say Qari Sahib. Who is Qari Sahib? Whoever has a very beautiful voice. You remember that Qari from Egypt, Abdul Basit? He doesn't even have beard. So he becomes the Khalifa. Does it make sense? But if you see the meaning of the word Iqra, you realize that this is the first order. Iqra Bismillah. Prophet was ordered Iqra. That's the criterion. And what is science of that? That's the one that uses the knowledge model. Remember? Repeatedly we said. Knowledge model. From data to information to knowledge to decision. And how is that done? Quran, Hadith. Then deduction. Deduction is Iqra. So whoever has the best ability to deduce is your leader. First. It's completely turned upside down, and Abdul Basit seems to be the leader. Nowadays they have even females reciting. Jennifer something, a former singer.
Yeah,
She sings and everybody is in love with that recitation. I said, it's double haram. It's a woman, then it's a machine. So what are you saying, brother? Give us a break. Can you not like anything?
So literally, ability to use Iqra means that living according to Quran?
No.
First, understanding.
Ability to deduce from Quran through Hadith. This is the point. Quran, Hadith, deduction, conclusion. The ability to do that.
But also there is a specific term for this in like, it's called faqih. Faqih is someone who deduces from Quran and Hadith and give the conclusion.
Yeah.
Even it comes even in the Hadith. Then why not use the word Qari for that? Like Hadith use the word faqih for it.
No, I'm talking, see, faqih is,
Or mujtahid.
we're talking about simple Hadith. Who is the first leader? What is the first criteria? We're talking about characterizing humans. First criteria is Iqra, right? And of course, when you select judge, again, everything goes back to this Iqra. How does a faqih give decision? How does a mufti is a judge, right? He's giving fatwa. How does he conclude? Again, Quran Hadith. So the first criterion is the most important one, is deduce.
No, like I'm talking about, you said that the Iqra mean deducting, deduced logic, not logic and
Yes,
knowledge.
by definition.
So I'm saying that the definition which you said, the deductive logic knowledge model, the term used in Hadith for it is faqih. It's not Iqra. Like
The word
it
Iqra-
it has been referred to as like yufaqihu fi din.
Yeah, I know, I understand. The term Iqra, by definition, according to the 900-year-old dictionary, by Iqra is deduction. It does not translate as read. That's the difference. There is no word for read in Arabic. There is recitation, but in Arabic, only word there is that scientifically translates into is deduction, and that has been missing. The only way I know, because I was told by Dr. Sadiq from that dictionary, remember my 1 week with his enlightenment, with his So we talked about many issues. The most important one was the meaning, scientific meaning of Iqra. Another one is hadith. There was a hadith that regular people say when Rijal will come to mosque, you know that their quality has degraded. It doesn't make any sense. When Rijal, lot of people will come to the mosque, you know that it has, to the Jummah, it has degraded. You know what the actual narrative? Somebody from Rijal, the wall was Rihal. You know what Rihal is? On the female, when female is carried by camel, there's a container.
Yes.
So when people are coming in Rihal to the mosque, Jummah prayer, you know that the quality has degraded. From that, the actual conclusion should be, we should not take camel. And Prophet's time, nobody took camel to go to Jummah. If you are incapable of walking, you do not go to Jummah, but you do not take a transport. I was reminded of that because yesterday I was taken with the car to the Jummah Masjid, which is 6 minutes walk. But it is too complicated for me to explain because the car is running. Say, hey, hurry up, we're going. So things, when you look at the history, you go back to the origin and you find out, subhanAllah, we have made a mess. So if going on a camel is not allowed, going on a car is double allowed. No, not allowed, because car is not sustainable.
So it's prohibited to
Yes, that's the conclusion.
the Prophet is given him
See,
No.
prohibited
It's
that
the-
you can't take.
It's the hadith of Akhir al-Zaman. So
Yes, right.
they say that people will come to mosque on the transport for Jummah prayer.
That
So
means
it's a
they are
sign of,
not,
Akhir
it's
al-Zaman.
degraded. It's not a natural thing to do. And this is why, to me, the best way to know if somebody is a good guy or a bad guy, right? It's the question. Remember the hadith? Prophet said, ask me, and one idiot asked him, where am I in hereafter? He said, hell. You remember that hadith? He said, you're in hell. So what did he accomplish by asking this Bani Israel question? He confirmed his hell. Now he cannot escape. This is a fact. Other guys say, what is my father's name? That's when even Prophet Muhammad became angry. You remember? He was angry. He was red in his face. He was saying, ask me. And people look at the hadith and say, this is how all the munafiqs were coming out by the type of question they're asking. So what is the thing? Bani Israel questions are the sign that you are a munafiq. So this was last week. Someone asked, it's a question, are you reading it? Why aren't Afghan women allowed to use voice and show face? You remember we were talking about 49.6. We are supposed to verify. So who gave that answer, question? Who gave that notion? Who reported that? Of course, Fasik. 49.6 said, don't proceed, you'll hurt people. But another Bani Israel chimes in and says, because men, they are insecure. You see, Bani Israel question and Bani Israel answer. They are both the same. Do you see that? What would be the real answer? Best answer to Bani Israel question is, I don't want to participate in your question. Right? Prophet said, do not start to debate, because he cannot fix them. And if not, remind them, if you think that he's not real munafiq, he's misinformed, is to tell them 49.6. Say, brother, you're assuming what you hear on CNN is true, and it's haram. Because Luke 49:6 tells you otherwise. But do not give this answer because you assume already that they are speaking the truth. So research is about avoiding Bani Israel questions and asking real questions. Now I thought we'd make a little pitch on stupidity to the power 5. We did that before. Keep lights on. That's at night, right? There's no need, so you're simply wasting. So that's stupidity. Then electric light, which is toxic, that's stupidity squared. Then you're poor, you cannot even afford to pay the bill, the stupidity cube. Then you're a Muslim, you know it's haram to waste. That's stupidity 4.
Sir, but indeed, is women allowed to go to work?
Work?
Yeah, to go to work. I mean,
Where? In Afghanistan?
outdoor, anywhere.
No, it's not. That was not the question. You did not see it. Say, why is it prohibited to show their face and use their voice? They cannot use their voice. You know, I could simply say, so what are they talking about? My daughter always finds a woman and said, Dad, her hair is showing. Not only face, even hair is showing.
Yeah.
And my daughter is 10 years old.
Yeah, so that's not allowed, that's clear.
No, it's impossible. It's an absurd notion. Have you not seen women shopping? Can you not hear your voice? You know what is the truth about that? They prohibited prostitution long before. Now, prostitution is not allowed, so what did they do? They started to entertain. That voice is prohibited. A man can entertain, right? A man can sing a naseed or whatever. But a woman cannot. It's part of the prostitution one. It's just extension of the same decree. They turn that around about women are not allowed to talk. Even in their kitchen apparently. It's just shut up and cook. So how could they be so cruel on women? Their heart is bleeding. When all this 70% children and women are killed in Palestine, they were all quiet. Now they're crying for Afghani women. So they cannot speak. How sweet. It's very easy to call out these idiots. That was the issue. It has nothing to do with reality. The other reality, they say, a woman cannot go to school. Isn't that something? I said, you know, if I were me, it was me, I would ban all the schools for male or female because they're teaching nonsense.
Sir, I saw your tweet on, you posted it on Twitter, but imagine if you ban all the schools, okay, so at least people are, learning something.
No, it's not. They're learning Jahiliyyah. It's better to learn nothing than learning Jahiliyyah. It's worse when you think Jahiliyyah is knowledge. You see the point? It's better to not know Abu Jahl than knowing him as Abu Hakam.
Yeah, so we can make the argument that at least people are coming. It's okay that they are learning Jahiliyyah. I agree on that point. But at least they are coming to the schools.
Yes.
Okay. They are coming to the schools.
Why is it at least?
Huh?
Why is it at least? I would not want my daughter to
No.
learn
I
Jahiliyyah.
mean, if we have that infrastructure, that system being run,
Yeah.
so we should take action to
Fix this.
address the problems and fix the situation and teach them real knowledge, then banning it.
No.
It's
So there was a country which I'm not like, they banned all the schools for 1 year,
yes.
stopped it completely, and then revised their education system, and then started the schools after 1 year. I forgot the country name, but
Oh, what happened to Soviet Union after the revolution? Were they teaching the same thing? No, they completely stopped until they figured out how to do it. Even bad guys are doing it.
So then we can,
But tell me,
then the statements should be that
that instrument should be, I will
schools
revise it
should
for
be
you.
banned and
Every school, every college, everything should be closed until we figure out true knowledge how to do it.
yeah. So then that's the point. But if you say that we are banning it, without having intention and plan to teach them real knowledge.
No, the banning is a I don't know. Nobody. By the way, this argument that I made in front of a lot of people. They were stunned because it did not occur to them because they do not see modern education system as something bad. They say, well, they should be learning how to raise children and all this. So that's not it.
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
boys are learning is also bad.
The same way we were thinking, people were attending
Yeah,
this
I know.
class.
I was given there's a Sheikh Zayed has apparently given money for a university and they are creating new faculty. I was given the task of doing the curriculum and I did that in 3 days and they were stunned. I said there is no reason for this technical college, technical degrees to take 4 years. I said you can do it in 2 years and this is how. And I actually showed logically in the West is 4 years. My father did his BA honors in 2 years. 2 years in honors. He got first class. That's just at the point. His grandson had to take 4 years, even though he was the best. He also got honors and also got gold medal, all this. But 4 years, why? Why are you taking more time as time progresses? Shouldn't you do faster? So this logic could not get into the head of whoever was administering. This is absurd. I said, do you want me to argue? They said, no, doctor, you focus on your project. Don't worry about it. You talk about your university. We cannot fix this other universities. But people do not even think. Logic does not work. For them, America is doing it, and as Sheikh Zayed is paying it, who are you to talk about against it? But just very logical. All the courses taught are repetitive. They have 101, 102, and 201, and 4 years. Why do they do that? To maximize taking money. It has nothing to do with real knowledge. But that's another aspect. So, only thing worse than stupidity to the power 4 is when you think you are the alim, you're